Hi there, and welcome to Watching TV with Mikey and me. This week, me is my wonderful sister Hope. Today we are reviewing Asteroid City, the new film by Wes Anderson. It takes place in 1950s America at a science fair. A UFO shows up and it all unravels from there. Obviously there are some human stories baked in. It's a story within a story. Asteroid City is actually a production within the movie. Periodically we zoom out from that and see the people behind the production. Hope, what were your thoughts?
Well, I think I liked it better than you did.
You definitely did like it better than I did. I was somewhat underwhelmed.
I wasn't, for me, nothing will beat Grand Budapest in terms of the Wes Anderson filmography.
I agree.
It's not only one of my favourite of his movies, it's my favourite in my favourite movie category. It's never going to match up to that. And then obviously I have a quote from Fantastic Mr. Fox tattooed on me, so love that also.
What the cuss.
So I did really like it. It's not them, but I did really like it. I think though what made me like it more was how it looked.
Agreed.
Which obviously is a big thing with Wes Anderson movies, it's a big thing with Wes Anderson movies, but I really particularly enjoyed the colour tones. Apparently they filmed it in Spain for that.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Nice.
in Madrid. But I think that because it just was so pleasing to look at, all of it, it was happy to look at. And like I said before, before we started filming, that's something that I enjoy about Wes Anderson films, is that when I'm watching them, I just feel gently amused the full time because it's I'm entering into a happy environment.
The world feels at peace.
It does, it feels so nice. And even when he has, apart from the Royal Tenenbaums, but in this movie in particular, when there's a couple of tender moments, they're tender for the moments, and then it shifts to we're still all happy and it's all fine. I don't think so in the Royal Tenenbaums, because that makes me cry, that movie, when you shoot.
I actually love the Royal Tenenbaums.
Are you getting divorced?
At the moment, no. But it doesn't look good.
Do you still love us?
Of course I do.
Do you still love Mom?
Yes, very much, but your mother's asked me to leave and I must respect her position on the matter.
Was it our fault?
No. Obviously, we made certain sacrifices as a result of having children, but no, Lord, no.
Then why'd she ask you to leave?
I don't really know anymore. Maybe I wasn't as true to her as I could have been.
And I would say that it was significantly better than this film.
I would say, is it a better film? Yes. For me, and what I want from a Wes Anderson movie is joyful escapism. I don't want to cry. And is it Luke something?
Luke Wilson,
Luke Wilson
tries to kill himself, because he can't go out with his stepsister. He's a stepsister?
Yeah, stepsister. Adopted sister.
Adopted sister,
Yeah.
This is my adopted daughter.
Margot Tenenbaum was adopted at age 2. Her father had always noted this when introducing her. This is my adopted daughter, Margot Tenenbaum.
Played by Gwyneth Paltrow. Yeah, that's only why Royal Tenenbaums doesn't hit as high for me, or in terms of a rewatchability.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, so and that's why I like the Grand Budapest as much as it has a wee bit of sadness, but I like this for it wasn't sad, it was happy.
I do get that. I would counter that with the production value and the aesthetic for me was what made it acceptable to watch. Because I found the story to be slow and somewhat disjointed. You know the way with Wes Anderson where you usually fall down a rabbit hole with the aesthetic and with the dialogue?
Yeah.
I didn't fall down a rabbit hole in this one. I didn't think it flowed as well. And I don't enjoy a story within a story. It makes me invest in both less.
Okay.
So when it was this is a production, no.
Yeah, so to make that clear, if you're not familiar with the movie, it starts out and it's the way the aspect ratio is square and it's black and white, and it's Edward Norton and he is the writer of the play, that then once he sets the stage, it then goes to full screen in colour. So that's your difference between, there's two stories, there's almost a third, but that's where there's the two stories that Mike's mentioning is you're seeing the behind the scenes of the playwright in black and white, and you're seeing the actual actors act out the story that he's written in colour.
I didn't like that, and it periodically switches back from the main story, which is in the film or production, to what is real life in the film of making the film. I didn't enjoy it. It made me invest in both less.
Oh yeah.
And the weird chant they do at the end.
Don't fall asleep. You can't wake up if you don't fall asleep. You can't wake up if you don't fall asleep. You can't wake up if you don't fall asleep. You can't wake up if you don't fall asleep. You can't wake up if you don't fall asleep.
That was my.
It was like a pure avant-garde, like indie film thing where they all look at the camera and that. I was like, oh, this is like some theatre students
Yeah, that's exactly
1999 indie movie. I was
Yeah.
like, what the fuck is going on here?
That was the bit for me
I was
that see if I had seen that
Yeah.
as the advert,
Yeah.
I would have been like, oh, I'm giving this one a miss. It was so awful to me. It took me so out of it. Like I told
Yeah.
Eva when I came in, I watched the movie 3 times. And I thought because in watching it 3 times there was these little bits, either in visual detail or in dialogue that I hadn't picked up on. I was like, oh, that was really good. They really
Easter eggs.
Easter eggs that really well. But that bit I was like, I don't know why that was done.
Yeah.
Other than it's like, it's performers and they're really like
Performing.
yeah, but in a way that I'm
Yeah,
like,
I
I want to
detest.
tear my face off. This is so cringe.
I did think part just like immediately previous to that where William Dafoe is doing the kind of improv bit is exactly how I imagined those improv classes
Yeah.
to be. Do you know what I mean? Like the little quirky elderly instructor teacher with his polo neck on, saying, do this, you're a tree, go.
Yeah,
I thought it really captured that in a way that made me cringe but smile. But when they all went full chant at the thing, I was like,
Oh, I know.
I
Yeah.
don't get it. I don't think it worked. I don't think this film really worked.
Oh,
That's pretty
really?
damning. I love Wes Anderson, and Wes, if you're watching, You Make My Life Better
He
every day.
seems so sweet. I watched the the official conference of it, and the guy that plays Augie, his name's Josh something.
George.
I want to say like Schwartzman, but I
Schwartzman,
could
I think it
totally
is.
be wrong.
Is it not Jason Schwartzman?
Yes. So he was talking about, someone asked him about working in Wes movies. He just said how he was really young when he got into acting. His first thing was a Wes Anderson movie.
Yeah, he was a teenager.
Yeah, and he was talking about being a teenager, and Wes Anderson was the only person over 20 years old that had ever actually asked him a question and was interested to know the
Oh,
response.
that's sad.
No, but it was so sweet because it's filming him, but obviously it's a panel because it's a conference, and you just see Wes so engaged in it, the way the camera's shot, and he's just smiling at this answer,
Yeah.
just out and I was like, oh god, he's so nice.
Nice. He does seem like a nice
He's
man, and you
nice.
have to. Well, I assume you have to be a nice person to make films like this.
I mean, I think so.
Yeah, they do make me see films like this, genuinely funny and heartwarming things. Do make me feel better about the universe. And
Yeah.
oh, it's not all shit. There is some good people out there, and it's all gonna be okay.
I also think when there's that low creativity, that's
Yeah, it's just
so.
inspires so
Yeah.
much. So it does.
I always think that when I watch a good movie compared to a bad movie.
Oh yeah,
And I'm
yeah,
just
so much respect.
Oh, I'm depressed by the bad movie that was the level of it.
Yeah.
And I'm so my heart is warmed that there are creative people out there doing these amazing things.
And they get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bryan Cranston is everywhere.
But together they present an authentic account.
I have never seen a series do so much for one person as for Bryan Cranston.
Yeah.
Other people have a
Breaking
moment.
Bad saved
Yeah,
it.
do you know what I mean? Because he was the dad from Malcolm in the Middle at that point.
Yeah.
That was a Breaking Bad, which I didn't love, but
I didn't watch it. I tried to watch it twice, I think, and I dropped it. It was
yeah,
give me the college try. And I was just like, why do people like this?
too slow, too grim.
Yeah.
And also, it's so funny because it didn't really do much for the other boy, wasn't it? Jesse, something, I think his name is.
Yeah, I agree. No, I've not really
Yeah.
seen him in the way that Bryan Cranston I've seen.
No, but also he didn't deserve for it to do anything for him. He's not a good actor.
That's funny. I really don't know. I've
Yeah.
not watched Breaking Bad. I know he done that, I think Eagle Eye with Helen Mirren that I've seen. I feel like it was that. It wasn't called, it was Eye in the Sky. It was terrible anyway, don't watch it. But Bryan Cranston got Breaking Bad because he had done one episode. He was a day player on some kind of sci-fi show. I can't remember off the top of my head. And that director the creator is who's in Breaking Bad.
Oh, really?
So
That's
that one
funny.
callback from one episode is what got him that.
So you need to put yourself where
Be nice on
opportunity
set and
is.
stuff as well.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. I mean, I like him because he played Shannon in Drive, so that's why I always.
I know. I think he's good. I just
Yeah.
think it's so funny that he's absolutely everywhere.
Yeah.
However, I didn't enjoy his part in this. So if you haven't watched the film, again, intermittently Bryan Cranston will just appear and give some overview or commentary. I didn't enjoy that either.
Yeah.
I I didn't really take much from it.
I mean, I felt that, and because the voice that he's doing at the time, it's very, like, if you watch old school TV, it's the way the, like...
American, like, 1950s talk show host or newsreader would do it.
Yeah, would set the scene, and then it would be like... For instance, if you ever listen to old music, sometimes they'll... If you listen to, like, a Bing Crosby or a Frank Sinatra, some of their songs, you'll hear the intro of that Tonight Show, that host, introing, like, Bing Crosby or Frank Sinatra, and it was very much, to me, sounded in that style, the way he was using his voice. Now I think of the movie, like, so it was basically setting the scene each time for then the Edward Norton parts. There is so many layers to it, because there's Bryan Cranston being, like, the host, that's then introing the Edward Norton parts, which is the black and white scenes that he's then setting up the scene for the colour part of which you're writing. It is like a story within a story.
Yeah, and I don't think it added layers so much as made it disjointed. What I will say though is, just jumping to the end, the part where Jason Schwartzman goes out and has a dialogue with Margot Robbie across the balcony.
It was so good, it was so good.
And I found her monologue, which is meant to be about her character dying within the production, very touching.
Yeah,
I thought it was very good.
There's two moments, and that one when they do, so that particular scene is shot and you're seeing the side of Augie, and I don't know if his wife has a character name in it, or it's just wife, because I think in the credits she's called Wife and Actress.
Oh, right.
But it's shot from the side, so you've only seen side views of them, and then when she gets emotional, it goes straight on her face, and it's just on her face.
I hope it comes out.
It's very Wes Anderson.
It's very Wes Anderson, and she's so good in it. She doesn't do a lot. Like, it's not like I'm overly acting this. I'm showing you I'm emotional, not at all. But the still on her face is so good. And then same I thought when in story, in the colourful part, when Scarlett Johansson is playing Midge Campbell, when she's doing her monologue, and again it goes up to her face. And again, not doing much, but you can see her eyes just glaze. And I thought those were really great performances.
It was very, very great performances and very artistically shot, like perfect Wes Anderson. I thought it was very funny when she says to Jason Schwartzman's character, I'm about to do a nude scene, do you want to see it? And he doesn't say anything, he goes,
I do a nude scene, you want to see it?
Did I say yes?
You didn't say anything.
I meant yes, my mouth is big.
It's a monologue.
did I say yes?
Yeah.
I thought that was absolutely
That was
hilarious.
really funny. She's like, you didn't say anything.
Yeah,
He's like, I meant yes, my mouth didn't, like...
Yeah,
work.
my mouth, that's so funny.
Yeah, that was really good. I thought that was good. Also, what I thought was funny with that, so which makes it, again, a story within a story within a story, is she, within the colourful part of the story, is also playing an actress that is prepping for a role.
Yeah, that's funny.
But what I thought was funny is then when she was doing acting, when she's mimicking that she's in the shower and stuff, it was so like poor and laboured in like the best way of like, I'm acting, I'm playing my scenes.
I think there are some people that are just so synonymous with these films now. Scarlett Johansson, Edward Norton, Tilda Swinton. They're so Wes Anderson that as soon as I see them, I think it's just a delight. I did not enjoy that Matt Dillon appeared in the film. I think that, assuming that a non-Wes Anderson type person will just fit into the Wes Anderson machine and just assimilate and it'll all be fine, I don't think works. I felt it was a bit obtuse that he was there. I don't enjoy him as an actor, and anytime he's done anything serious or artistic, I've always thought, I can tell that you're acting, it's giving Mark Wahlberg and I don't like it.
That's funny.
I didn't really enjoy him in it, and I wasn't happy to see him there.
Yeah, I mean, for me, so he's the mechanic in it, which he doesn't have
It was a huge part.
no, he shows up there and then at the end when I did think it was jarring to see him. He's, for me, not a Wes Anderson actor. Well, I mean, historically he's not, but also he's just not. And I was trying to think, like, something about Mary's funny. He's not having to show, like, acting chops, and then that other movie is just such a terrible 90s, like, objectify young actresses pretending they're teenagers, and it's all just like and so that's all I've seen him acting, but he still, for some reason, to me, reeks of like cheap in that era. And I was thinking, like, does maybe Wes Anderson have a different perception of him? Well, I would think because he cast him, but does he see something different in terms of, is he aware of further projects before the time that we're aware of him, and just sees his drop off as, oh, that's a shame he had that drop off, let's give him an opportunity, as opposed to, for me, oh, he dropped off because he's not good and he suited the era of movies where you didn't have to act very well.
And also, I think sometimes it's maybe just about personality in real life. Maybe he's very likeable, maybe he's very charismatic, and that just doesn't translate onto screen. But the person believes in the person so much, they'll just cast him.
Yeah, I never thought of that. That could be true, could be nice.
On the flip side of that, I've never seen Liev Schreiber in a Wes Anderson film before, and it was just seamless. He looks like someone of that time. He's very handsome. He delivered his lines well. Like, he's a great actor.
You dare me?
There you what?
I
Yeah.
thought that was very, very good. I was happy to see him.
Yeah, I was too, and I like the juxtaposition of him as a dad and the boy that played his son. I thought the boy that played his son done such a good job because he's annoying. I mean, they're all the kids in it. They're at a space cadet thing, like a literal space cadet thing. They're meant to be of heightened intelligence, but this little boy is the try-hard of that group. And even when all the kids are sitting in a circle, his posture is so upright. He's so like the kid that definitely puts his hand up at every time in the class. And I thought the wee boy done that so perfectly well. And then I love Dinah, the one that plays Scarlett Johansson's daughter. Obviously, like there's so much in Wes Anderson movies where how the camera moves is like so important, and I just can't imagine how much goes into like the storyboarding of it, because when he like moves into shot and it'll be like it's moving into shot of the person's looking to the right, and then they look back to the right and it moves, the camera moves back again. But she had quite a lot of like eye contact moments like that. And I thought they were all spectacular, and I was like, God, she's a kid and she's done so well at that. And I thought she not stole it. I think Woodrow for me kind of stole it. I thought he was fantastic.
Even that means you probably really don't want to come back and hang out with this. Read it. Not what he said. He said this one's private, just the two of you. He said that he said.
Really?
Yeah. Who was your winner?
Ironically, I thought Woodrow was slightly wooden.
Oh really?
Or maybe that was just his character, but he's just, do you know what I mean? He's just that like meek, like pre-pubescent teen who doesn't really know his place in the world. So like, I don't think it's hard to nail. I thought he'd done it in a very Wes Anderson way. I thought it was very fitting for the film, but like, I didn't care about him.
Oh really? I was like, again, having watched it 3 times, there was just such little moments in his performances that I thought were so good. One scene that I really enjoyed, which again to go in the weeds of when it's black and white, when it's not, it's one of the scenes, black and white, but it's not Edward Norton, it's Scarlett Johansson and it's him.
Yeah.
And they're now the actors, and the boy that plays Woodrow is trying to convince Scarlett Johansson to come and actually perform the next day. The camera at this point, in the third letter, is looking at Scarlett Johansson, but there's a mirror over her cord, like over her shoulder, but it's small. And you see his performance, and when there's something said uncomfortable, he just goes. And it's so small on the overall. Did you miss it?
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's fantastic. So on the third letter, she goes, is there something else? And he like waits a second and then really opens his eyes really wide. He goes, oh yes, and then he takes a third. And then it flips to looking at her. And then it's the bit where I've always looked at you, sister, except for that one time that we never mentioned.
Yeah.
And then you just see him going like this. The rest of him does the movie just does like this. So that's the thing. She's still reading the letter, so you don't see it unless you see it. And I thought, oh, it was so good.
I love that attention to detail.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect. I do love that. I didn't think his performance was good. I don't know, I just didn't invest in this film as much as I generally do in a Wes Anderson movie. I guess I just didn't find it that enthralling. I don't know if it was because it was almost a kind of 3-tiered movie that just didn't make me invest in anything as much. I thought the daughters' names, Andromeda, Pandora and Cassiopeia, were very,
phenomenal.
very funny.
I even really liked the guy that works for Tom Hanks that answers the phone, Romulus.
Oh, nice.
The names were phenomenal, but yeah, the
yeah,
girls' names were so good. So Augie's got 3 ladies. Augie's got Woodrow and 3 little girls who have those fantastic names.
Yeah.
I thought those little girls were great as well.
Yeah, I thought the fact that they put their mum's ashes in Tupperware and buried it about an inch deep in the ground. They kicked up hell when their grandfather tried to exhume it. I thought that was very, very funny.
I thought that was so funny. And I also really liked, like they go into the diner at the beginning of the movie and the lady, like the waitress, says, oh, what were these princesses like? And they're like, we're not princesses, and they all talk over each other going, I'm a vampire, I'm a vampire, I'm a mummy, and I'm a witch.
Yeah.
And I thought that was hilarious. And then what I thought was even better at that is they don't mention it, but later when you see them twice, they're dressed as a vampire, a witch. And I don't really think the one had a mummy outfit, but the wee one has the fans, because when they're burying the mum's ashes and they're doing a spell, and then she goes, and mummy will come back alive, like she's done a spell, she's been shot up and you can see her wee fangs, and I was like, oh, that's fantastic.
I love that. I absolutely
thought that was so good. I also thought that girl was great.
Yeah, I thought they were really good. I was happy to see Jeffrey Wright.
Time to get warm. That's for speech.
guy that was also, he's in everything, but he was in Ali, he was in James Bond, he was Peoples Hernandez in the Shaft film, remember?
Oh,
Yeah,
the guy from Boardwalk.
he played the army. He played the army guy in this.
Yeah,
I thought he was good again. I just think his delivery's so good. I loved him in the French Dispatch. I think he's so Wes Anderson.
yeah.
And also Tilda Swinton, who often plays quite, I don't know, weird.
Exclusively strange characters.
Yeah, exclusively strange characters, but I always really identify with her in a Wes Anderson film. I think he does a good job of humanising her, and I always feel real empathy for her characters, and I thought she was excellent as well.
I thought she was really great. I really loved, so during the colourful part of the movie, I don't know how to refer to it better.
The film within the film,
Yeah.
Asteroid City is the main production, but is fictional within the film.
That makes sense. Let's say within Asteroid City, they're at a space camp, then an alien comes down, and then the kids are trying to, because they're so smart, they manage to create something to try and make contact with the aliens. I don't know what it would be called. Kids are smarter than me. But then Tilda Swinton's character discovers it, and I love that she doesn't chastise them. She's like, but what about Doctor, and then whatever her name is,
Yeah.
and I thought that was wonderful.
Who's responsible for stealing my radio telescope, my signal processing receiver, and my entire spectrographical monitoring network?
They're trying to contact the alien.
Well, I appreciate that, but what about Dr. Hickenlooper? If you're trying to contact the alien, include me. Did you hear anything from him so far?
Because it was like, let's encourage the kids. She's the fun scientist that wants to encourage these
Yeah.
future scientists.
100%. She was just upset that she wasn't.
Yeah,
involved.
she's like, what about Doctor?
Yeah.
Obviously it was like Van Helsing or something. But yeah, I really liked that, and I thought that was good. I really think she always plays strange characters. Well, that's a bad thing, she's just always doing interesting stuff. But I think, her and Wes Anderson projects, or Wes Anderson really manages to humanise her in them, and instead of her being like, oh, she's the weird
she's
alien person.
white witch from Narnia.
Yeah, I always just think about it as the mum, and we need to talk about Kevin.
I never watched that. I thought it
Yeah,
was
don't.
upsetting.
It's a very well done film, I would say, but it's just such a horrific job to watch.
I don't want to watch that. I thought the bit where Steve Carell says to the parents of all the academic kids, your children are all strange, aren't they? They're not normal.
They're strange, aren't they? For children, compared to normal people.
Yes, that's correct.
That's true.
I thought that was hilarious because he just delivers it with a smile so cut and dry, and none of them are offended by it either.
They all agree.
But I just thought it was so funny how he said it so off the cuff. I thought it was absolutely hilarious. His part was good.
I thought it was really good.
Yeah, he played the hotel operator. Yeah, it was just quaint, it wasn't overdone, and I thought it was good comic relief.
I thought it was hilarious. See, when I watched it, that was in the advert, and I completely forgot about it, and I was so glad I did, because then when he delivered it, I was absolutely howling.
Yeah, I thought it was so funny. I thought it
perfection.
was so funny.
It was so good. And then once all the parents agrees, he just goes, and just a, it was just so funny. It just was a perfect accent to the scene.
Yeah, I thought it was
wonderful.
perfect.
Yeah.
Scarlett's monologue on No Guilt,
Oh, I thought that was very good.
I thought it was sad and funny. I thought it was very, very good. And basically, because she says, I'm a bad mother and I wish I could feel some guilt around that, but I don't.
I'm not a good mother.
No.
I love my daughter, but I'm not a good mother. Because unfortunately for her, she's not my first priority. On account, there's always already the thing I plan to do next. I love my daughter, by the way. I love all my children. We have magical time when we're together. I have another girl and a boy. They live with my second ex-husband in Utah. He rarely sees them either. I wish I felt guilty at least, but I don't experience that emotion, if I understand it correctly.
Not at least in what I understand that emotion to be.
Yeah, it's so funny, and I just thought the shameless narcissism in it, but very human again, and humans are ultimately self-serving. I thought it was very candid, and I just thought it was so funny and quite profound, and it made me sad, but also made me laugh.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that is so good about Wes Anderson stuff though, and I think that's why, it's a commitment, but watching his stuff multiple times is so worthwhile, because within each of the dialogues, as much as they're forwarding the narrative of the story, there's little moments like that that I think that are my favourite moments in film altogether, Kill Bill Volume 2, when Bill's talking about Superman and Clark Kent.
Absolutely wonderful. Watch it.
Watch it.
A staple of superhero mythology is there's the superhero and there's the alter ego. Batman is actually Bruce Wayne. Spider-Man is actually Peter Parker. When that character wakes up in the morning, he's Peter Parker. He has to put on a costume to become Spider-Man. And it is in that characteristic Superman stands alone. Superman didn't become Superman. Superman was born Superman. When Superman wakes up in the morning, he's Superman. His alter ego is Clark Kent. His outfit with the big red S, that's the blanket he was wrapped in as a baby when Kent's found him. Those are his clothes. What Kent wears, the glasses, the business suit, that's the costume. That's the costume Superman wears to blend in with us. Clark Kent is how Superman views us. And what are the characteristics of Clark Kent? He's weak. He's unsure of himself. He's a coward. Clark Kent is Superman's critique on the whole human race. Or like Beatrix Kiddo.
You have to watch 1 and 2, obviously, but that dialogue scene is such perfection. It made me think humans in a different way.
Such a good analogy.
Yeah, and it's the same with Pulp Fiction, to go on a tangent, but which I also have tattooed, is they talk a lot, don't they?
Name?
They talk a lot, don't they?
Yes, yes they do. And because it's I hadn't thought of that. People say, oh yeah, they said this or they said that. Who's they in that? Or they said we had to do this or they said we had to do that. Who is the they? We take these like concepts and just take them for granted in conversation because it's how we speak. But then when you like kind of zoom out and you're like, hang on, who is they? I just thought like I love that so much, and I think Wes Anderson does that really well in making you something that you would have taken for granted, kind of being contemplative of it in a way that I had never done before.
Yeah, I think it's like lines that stay with you, like you kind of zoom out from social etiquette and just lay down paths of life, and you think, well, that really is a bit stupid, or it will give you a framework to look at life and you're like, wow, that's actually really profound and makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And I think like I often, not with like themes, but I often conflate like the dialogue of Quentin Tarantino and Wes Anderson, because I think it's both stuff that really resonates and really stays with you, albeit obviously the films couldn't be any more polarising because some are about really, really dark, like horrific murder, and you know, Wes Anderson's just a jolly lark. But yeah, I think in terms of like dialogue and Hollywood, like those two are out in a league of their own.
Yeah, for sure. For me, like they're the zenith of talent. There's no one who usurps their dialogue for me.
I agree. Coming to my head when I watched this, that like, is Wes Anderson
Oh no.
going down the hill now? Because you know, Quentin Tarantino always says he's only doing a finite amount of films, because you have it, then you lose it, and you don't get it back, and a lot of people stay in the game too long and become a caricature of themselves, i.e. Martin Scorsese with The Irishman.
Oh, that's so mean.
I love Martin Scorsese, but it wasn't a good film. And that did occur to me when I was watching this, like, oh, is Wes on his way down? Because I didn't like a couple of those Roald Dahl shorts either. I hope not, and the film is still a great piece of art. I just didn't think it was his best. But you know, I've watched some of his other films and I've preferred some to others. So was it the Something Aquatic with Steve Zissou?
Yeah.
Very funny, not the best one.
To be fair, I've not actually seen that one. I was thinking about that recently.
That's good.
But I think it's just I think it's like the peak and trough within his talent spectrum, which is you know, so much higher than everyone else's. I don't think he's falling off. It was too good. Like the little details of the film. So like near the very beginning of the film, they're doing atomic bomb testing. Not in any sinister way. It's literally there's just like a mushroom cloud in the
that's what
background.
they've done it in the desert.
And Augie leans out and takes a picture. Then it's never mentioned again. But then when he's having the dialogue scenes, him and Scarlett Johansson's character, Midge Campbell, talk from building to building through their toilet windows, and he's using his bathroom also as his darkroom, and in the background is that picture of the mushroom cloud.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, I don't think he's fallen off because there's too many details like that throughout.
Yeah.
There are these callbacks that they're not even verbally calling back. I don't think he's dropped off.
No, but I think there's like layers to that though, so there can be nuance that you can still have a great attention for detail, but storyline and casting. Apologies if the frame has moved somewhat throughout this. The batteries in this Sony camera keep dying and I am periodically having to change them out, which I have to remove the camera from the tripod to do that, so I apologise if that is slightly jarring. Hope, the Scarlett Johansson scene where she defends her own film.
Yeah, that was funny. So she's in a queue with, again, a character that I don't know her name, but one of the kids' mums.
Just like random ignominious mum.
Yeah, but she says to Midge Campbell, who's an actress, oh, I really liked X film, I don't know why no one else did. And I just thought that was
Hilarious.
so funny. But also because that happens to famous people in real life.
Yeah. Slightly off topic, Harry Potter said that somebody asked him for a picture and was like, yeah, if you'd like, and he went, well, obviously I'd like because I asked you. And after that he said his girlfriend was like, you need to stop taking shit from the public.
I remember him talking about that, yeah, like, because also, no.
Yeah, but no, to be fair, like that, someone like, that's kind of different, but I just mean like a fan being jarring to your face must be quite jarring.
Yeah, I mean 100%.
And also I didn't ask for your opinion, random stranger, but thanks so much
But
for
also,
it.
see if you like someone, tell them about the thing that you like.
Yeah.
Don't go, oh, that was awful. That's like, yeah, you should feel bad about this part in your filmography, but I liked it. But just like slightly salt the wound. Why would you ever say that?
In my comment as a passing observer who doesn't do this trade, doesn't put any hours and just had a flippant idea about it, must really resonate with you, someone who does it every single day.
Yeah.
I know that because people comment on my kickboxing from burner accounts who've never put on a pair of gloves in their life. Thanks guys.
I was listening to The Real Flint recently, which is a phenomenal movie podcast, definitely listen to, but Kevin McCarthy, that done that Billy Bob interview,
Best interview ever.
him and Jake Hamilton holds, they are the best. But he was saying that he was interviewing, I think it was the director of Spider-Man 3, and he was like, oh, by the way, I really liked it. And he went, you and my mum.
Oh, that's so funny, that's so funny.
That's brilliant.
That's hilarious, that's so
that
funny.
was so
I like the
funny.
self-awareness.
Yeah, completely.
Spider-Man 3 was shit. Also, I just wanted to jump to it. There's a part where one of the students phones the editor of a newspaper to try and leak the story about the UFO, and a woman answers and says, it's too late, he's already started drinking. And it transpires that he's drinking Ovaltine and it's another teenager and he comes to the phone with a glass of milk, which I thought was very, very funny.
Good evening, Mrs. Rutherford. It's Ricky Cho. May I have a word with you?
It's after 9. He's already drinking his Ovaltine. Can't this wait until tomorrow?
I'm afraid not, Mrs. Rutherford. I wouldn't disturb you if it weren't of the utmost importance to the weekly Bobcat. I just need a minute of his time.
All right, Ricky, hold the line.
Well, I think you're pretty smart, but I think you're pretty dumb.
Hello? Skip? Ricky, you got a stupid.
Yeah, but also the woman, I think that's so wild that you're saying that, is Rita Wilson, Tom Hanks' wife. Tom Hanks is in it.
I wasn't aware of who she was.
Oh, see, I really liked it because they've been together for like ever, and I think, like whenever I hear an interview of him, she also makes music. I've not heard the music, but he always champions it, and I just think it's so lovely.
That's nice.
But I love that Tom Hanks is in it, I mean, because I just love Tom Hanks so much.
I adore Tom Hanks. I
And
think he does a good job.
Yeah, and I think he brings that warm happiness
Yeah.
with everything that he does.
super
That Wes
wholesome,
Anderson
super
takes so
wholesome,
bad.
yeah.
And I love the way that they introed him in the movie. So at the very beginning, to really continue to jump about on this, they're introducing each of the cast members that will then be playing in Asteroid City, and everyone kind of, there's multiple people in shot as they're doing it, and then when it's him, it's a wide, and he's sitting like debonair with his legs crossed, and it's in black and white, but he's just lit to absolute perfection, and then just slightly pushes in, and I'm like,
65, retired.
that's the best
Yeah.
intro to like it being Tom Hanks in a Wes Anderson movie ever. I loved it.
Like the film between Wes Anderson films is sitting
Yeah.
and it's incredible. Filming reels, I can tell you, I tried to spin round and take a video of a bag there. Fucking nightmare.
I saw that, that looked really
it
good.
was awful. But yeah, I mean obviously he's better apparatus and some actual experts on it. But yeah, I just think like the production value is absolutely
Yeah.
incredible. So
Can I make one honourable mention
yes,
about something?
of course.
So, actually two things because I loved it so much. Adrian Brody in it, I just loved
Yeah,
him
he's
in
always
it.
perfect. He's always perfect.
And the bit that you were talking about, which is, what do you call him from Spider-Man, or the Yale thing?
He was part of that whole Yale thing.
Yale.
Yeah, Yale thing.
What do you mean, Yale thing?
Well, I think for one that he was probably a closet homosexual. He did a lot of cocaine.
Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe, thank
Yeah.
you. So that when Willem Dafoe is like talking to the audience, if you just watch Adrian Brody during that time, he's just gently amused that full time, and he walks around behind him and then walks back and then holds hand with Edward Norton, and it's wonderful. But what's even better, I think, than that is when he's doing the speedball. Doing speedball,
Oh, yeah,
if you don't know
that's
what
so
that is, it's
funny.
like, you know those little balls that boxers use?
Yeah.
But there's not a speedball. He's
Yeah.
just doing it, and he's doing it like so well, and making gestures
making
and
a
making the noise.
Yeah, the noise.
I'm staying at Diego's penthouse.
It's hilarious. It's actually quite
perfect.
accurate as well.
It's-
It's really,
I
really
mean,
funny.
I only know from videos, I don't know
Yeah.
that. But I thought that was wonderful. But his ex-wife in it, Hong Chow,
I thought their scene was very good.
I adore her. She's in Watchmen.
Yeah, I know who she is. Yeah.
She's in The Menu. Don't watch The Menu. If you haven't watched The Menu, don't watch The Menu. It's one of the worst films I've ever seen, except for like, her scenes. Her scenes are wonderful.
Yeah.
She's hilarious. She is so funny. She was in it, and I absolutely loved it.
Yeah,
I think she's
I
brilliant.
loved it. And I liked her little dialogue, and again that kind of real life where she's like, "I still love you," and he's like, "But just not the way you did." She's like, "Just not the way I did."
Yeah.
Lovely. I love that.
Or I also really liked in it because then she's like, because he's the director of the play, and she's like, when so and so says their last scene.
Yeah, make it green.
Oh no! She said that with the alien, did you add the green?
Yeah,
and
oh,
he puts
yeah,
the light
yeah.
on. No, she says when like so and so says their
Yeah,
last
yeah,
line, wait until she's left the room,
Yeah.
and then she leaves the room and closes the door and says goodbye.
When Midge makes her exit in Act 3, Scene 5, try having her say the line after she closes the door.
I know they are. I will.
Goodbye.
And it's that I really enjoyed that
So
throughout when
clever.
they jump between the kind of in the weeds of making the creation of Asteroid City to then Asteroid City. I like how they hint and tell you about what's to come without overly doing it twice.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed all the little nuances within their relationship, like they are breaking up, but she's still giving him technical advice
Yeah.
about the production. Like it's kind of real life.
Yeah,
When people are adult and mature.
yeah.
But I absolutely think this is about to die. So we're going to rate it on story, performances, and production. I've just put pen on my jeans. Story out of 10.
Of movies in general, I would say like a 7. Of Wes Anderson movies, I would say a 5.
Yeah, so I had story for 6.
Well,
And again, I'm probably comparing that to other Wes Anderson films. I hadn't thought about that, but I'm comparing it to the Wes Anderson universe, probably not films in general. But I would say it would rate higher against films in general. For Wes Anderson, I'm giving it a 6.
performances, I would honestly say 10 out of 10. Except for Matt Dillon, but he was fine and it was such a small part. But no one else, like no one was weak. It was wonderfully cast. It was wonderfully performed. No one took me out of the moment when I watched it, and I think that's for me is a big thing in acting. When it's like, oh, I can tell you're acting. It makes me grimace and I hate it. No one done that. Yeah, Mark Wahlberg, I mean, awful. Or Anya Taylor-Joy, awful. So yeah, I would say 10 out of 10 for that. And then what
Production.
was
Production value.
10,000 out of 10.
Yeah.
It's perfection. It looks gorgeous. There's also a really good video on YouTube with the set designer talking about it, and they're showing you like some of the artwork. I'll send you the link so you can link it. It's beautiful. It's totally worth a watch. And he also talks about the Grand Budapest as well.
Nice. So story, I give a 6 out of 10. As I said previously, I only compared it against other Wes Anderson films, not against films in general. I would have scored it higher if I was comparing it against films in general. However, story for this, the story within a story within a story, I can appreciate the intelligence and the creativity. However, it made it feel slightly disjointed for me. And as such, I didn't invest in any of the characters the way I generally do. Performances, I gave it an 8 out of 10. Again, I don't think there was anything wrong with the actual performances. I scored it slightly lower because Matt Dillon was in it, and I just don't think his performance is ever good. And also, again, I found that the story within a story, it became a bit disjointed. I think there was a lack of, I couldn't fully invest because it was jumping in between. So, and I think I was aware that even though the characters are obviously fictional, the fact that they were fictional within the production made me invest a bit less. I wasn't as emotionally attached, so because I couldn't emotionally invest as much in the story or the characters, I couldn't invest in their performances as much. Production value, 10 out of 10, which is kind of a given.
Yeah.
And it looked absolutely incredible, it looked ridiculous. So and I think Wes Anderson films kind of get a 10 out of 10 for production value as a given.
Yeah. I agree.
And I think there's an artistry to making it look that amateur sometimes as well. Like the telephone pole, like, so much of it looks like a school play, but in this incredibly beautiful aesthetic way.
Yeah, part of, I don't know if it was the set designer interview I watched, I think it might have been, they were talking about different things. It's like, sometimes we will make it stop motion, or sometimes we will, like the...
the alien was like stop motion.
Yeah, or they do things in miniature, like the ski race in Grand Budapest.
Oh, yeah.
What do we do if we catch him? I don't know. He's a homicidal psychopath. Let's stop. I can't. I can barely steer.
That's so funny. And I think if someone else was to do that, it would like jump me out of it and be like, why are you doing this? But when Wes Anderson does it, I'm just like, this is just fun. It's funny, I never thought about it the way you did, but it's true. I was invested in Woodrow, but not in the same way that like when I watched the Grand Budapest, like I am so invested in those characters. I'm so invested in those characters. So yeah, I think I didn't realise until you said it that I was less attached to the characters.
Sorry for ruining.
No, it's okay.
That's the whole point of this series. We're just going to try and ruin films for you. On that note, thank you so much for watching.
It sucks.
Yeah, we hope you've enjoyed this. There will be many more to come. We are starting this new series, so we're going to do one vlog on movies and then one on fashion, and these will appear every 2 weeks because I need one to film and one to edit. I used to try and do 2 films a week and I nearly had a nervous breakdown. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you have anything to add?
No, just watch movies.
Yep, anyway, I don't know what film we'll be reviewing next time, but we will be reviewing fashion looks and trends in the next vlog.
Oh, well, that. Would you prefer if we reviewed movies that we think are wonderful or rubbish movies? Because we always say, if I can swear we swore throughout this, ship out good movies, because there's so many of them.
Point Break.
I
This is about to die.
That's funny. Or just out and out trash, because I also have a passion for out and out trash.
Yeah, so let us know in the comments if you would like us to review films that are actually good, or if you would like us to review films that are tongue-in-cheek and just shamelessly cheer them down. Let us know.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day. Hope.
Have a good time.
Goodbye.